Welcome back to I Am Black Talent Podcast. I'm Latanya Davis, your host. Today we're going to be talking about the framework when they cannot ignore your process. So, what is a framework? A framework is a repeatable process with clear steps that anyone can follow to get a result. Think of it as your intellectual property on paper. Why Black women must have one. Frameworks get you on panels, not just in the audience. They turn soft skills and lived experience into tools that companies pay for. They help you scale without adding hours to your day. So how do you build one? Well, you want to identify your most powerful outcome that you've created for yourself or others. A few of them for me will be creating DEI strategies for Amazon Prime and Amazon Global Marketing International Stores. My clients, which also include Elevate, labs, which also include Boys and Girls Club, who actually won an award for DEIB outcomes. In the other fields that I'm in, I received an autism award for starting homeschool that helped 4,000 families learn how to homeschool, especially during COVID. And then there's also K-12 education, having received those awards. And then I'm a lawyer, so I received the Outstanding Woman in Law Award. Those are just a few. Those are a few that represent the outcomes that I was able to receive as a result of my work. And I know you have them, so I want you to document them. What were your most powerful outcomes? Number 2, you want to list the 3 to 5 steps that you always take to get there. The number one thing that I can say that I always do that I don't think that people really think about is I always build relationships with the people that I'm working with. And I always make sure that I do that, especially as a consultant who's usually coming in from the outside. I have to make sure that I'm building a relationship with the senior most leader in the organization. That might be a board of director, that might be a CEO or the CTO, that might be a VP. Again, whoever the highest level person is, I want to make sure I have that relationship first. And I absolutely make relationships with everyone else. But that person is a decision maker. That's the person that everyone's going to listen to. And so I want to make sure that I understand who that person is as a person first and title second. And I also want to let them know who I am as a person first and title second. That is how I'm able to really earn trust. And I love being able to do that because you get to you get to work better with people when you know who they are. Number 3, you want to give it a name. Bonus if it references your own story. So when we think about this, we can think about like my autism framework. I have an autism framework that helps families to homeschool, to do advocacy if they need to, moms to have a wellness plan. And so I named those the Autism Mom Wellness Framework, the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Belonging Framework. So you want to name it whatever that is. And of course, if you have a story tied to it, it makes it even better. The reason why your story is important is because your story is tied to the solution. And people will believe you and will trust you when they know that the solution that you built worked for you. And so therefore you can share it with others. Number 4, you want to test it on someone that you trust. So I have never had to test those because I've always been in the positions where I am hired as the leader to come in and to create the change. Thankfully, I have a great relationship with the Lord, so I'm able to do some things through the discernment. But what I have done is I've also created different types of solutions, and we placed them out to see what would happen. One example of that is a sponsorship program. So myself and HR got together and co-created the sponsorship program. And this program was designed to help women of all backgrounds be able to advance in the workplace. So a part of it was being able to have key players involved, which are your managers, the senior leaders. So I got everybody involved. Everyone had a role, which was great. And then I created all the criteria for each one. We did a pilot, which is what you would do. You would pilot it out, you would test it, and you would see what would happen. It was great. It was highly effective. It was a high leverage move. Folks got promoted. Visibility was seen by the women, from all over. And so therefore, it was the one thing that I remember the leaders talked about really positively in a way where they said, we got to scale this. And so they did. They scaled it globally. So you want to test it on someone that you trust, or if you're in if you're in like an employee role position and you're leading a program or initiative, your testing is going to be with the people who you currently are going to collaborate with and who's going to receive that. So in my case, it was the senior leaders, the sponsees who were all the women, and the managers. So number 5, turn it into a one-pager, a workshop, a masterclass, an ebook, a download, a keynote. That's how you do it. And I wanted to just remind you of that. There are many types of products you can create and make. It's not just limited to books. There are many things you can do. And so that is what I'm teaching people in my AI Innovators, in my Queens and Crowns Network, in my Natural Hair Academy, and also my Autism Academy. I want people to know that you can actually do this. So in closing, you're not here to wing it. You're here to systematize it. And the most successful Black women that I know, including myself, we use frameworks. We use frameworks for everything that we do. I hope this was helpful to you to start thinking about what kinds of framework you can actually use. If you want to get an audit that's free at my website, just go ahead and comment or head over to my website and be able to receive it. Thank you so much, and be sure to pass this along to someone else who can also use this. Thanks. Welcome back to the I Am Black Talent Podcast. I'm LaTanya Davis, your host, and today we're talking about the flywheel. Your legacy moves in circles and not funnels. Hey, Queens and Crowns. Today we're going to talk about something they never taught us in career coaching or entrepreneurship classes. It's how to build a flywheel for your career and business. A system that keeps momentum spinning whether you're actively working or not. So what is a flywheel? A flywheel is a self-sustained loop of value, visibility, validation. It builds speed over time and gets easier the more you feed it. For Black women, this means because we've often had to start from scratch over and over, I'm here to stop that cycle. Why Black women need a flywheel? White male systems run on legacy networks, social networks. Flywheels create self-powered ecosystems. You speak, people share, your receipts stack, opportunities find you. An example, my AI Innovators community will become a post that turns into a newsletter, into a contract, a speaking gig, into a licensing deal. That's how it works. So how to build your flywheel? You want to think about your value, visibility, validation, connection, and automation. So know what you're brilliant at, and you are brilliant at something, even if nobody taught you how to monetize it. Visibility. Show up where your people and your decision makers are. That might be LinkedIn, that might be YouTube, it could be communities, it could be social networks or private networks that are industry based. It could be anywhere that you currently are a thought leader in your industry. Validation. Keep a brag book, screenshots, testimonials, numbers, receipts. You'll need those because this validates that you're brilliant, as we said you are. Connection. Create daily moves to feed your wheel. Comment on posts that relate to your actual thought leadership. Send emails. Send pitches. Have meetings. Automation. You can use AI to help you amplify without burning out. And that's super key. So some examples of, my flywheels are my value. I know that I'm brilliant at the following: K-12 education, autism, diversity, equity, inclusion, tech design, anti-racism. I have all those great wheels and frameworks. Visibility. I show up on my platforms. I show up on social media, including LinkedIn, and I show up in very visible ways. I use newsletters. I use my YouTube videos. I also cross promote in different spaces and places. And I'm also on Instagram. Just came there this year. But again, visibility is you actually showing up. And it's about you showing up, not just your picture and your image with your natural hair, as I do, but also here is the thought leadership that nobody's talking about. And you are the solution to someone's problem. My validation comes in my headline for LinkedIn. I always try to share, I've either got this many followers, this many subscribers, or the big stuff. Here are how many people I've helped in X, Y, and Z. Or here's a result of something that I led, something that I owned, or I'm a leader of leaders. And so something I do that's very unique is I make sure that I get my testimonials as my recommendations on my LinkedIn profile, because those carry so much weight, you have no idea. So if you haven't thought about that, make that your next task. Make sure that you get some really great testimonials that speak to your numbers, percentages, and how you shifted and moved the space you were in and the role that you had. My connections. I'm very clear about who I want to connect with. Every single person I connect with has to have an alignment to my purpose, my vision, and my value. I'm not saying that other people aren't valuable, but what I am saying is that we have to be very strategic about who we are letting into our actual connection circle, because the purpose is to be able to support them and also to be able to support you. And so think about who those people are. Start reaching out to new people that you may not have even thought about. And of course, we have our wonderful automation. I happen to love YouTube. YouTube is a great way to use your awesome flywheel to get into the spaces and to be able to send it out to your email list, your newsletters, even just post it on your LinkedIn profile. Why not? I'm actually doing one right now as we speak. I have an audio version of this. It's going to go on YouTube and it's going to be able to be seen through other folks as well. I want to just say something about funnels. Funnels get cold. Flywheels stay warm. And yours is powered by your story, your receipts, and your strategy. I want you to build it now because your legacy moves in circles, not in straight lines. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of I Am Black Talent Podcast. And we thank you so much for being here. We will see you next time. Welcome back to the I Am Black Talent Podcast. I'm Latanya Davis, your host. Thank you so much for joining us today. Queens, let me ask you this. What if you had a personal assistant that worked 24/7, spoke your language, and knew how to create for your community? No shade to Siri and Alexa, but they don't know how to do a twist out, a wash and go, an IEP meeting, or figure out, do I have a pay gap? I'm Latanya Davis. So if you're new here, I'm an autism mom, an AI strategist, career equity coach. I love talking about DEI and entrepreneurship. So today we're going to be pulling back the curtain on GPTs and how they can help you build wealth, wellness, and influence without burnout. Let's kick it off with a manifestation. I am worthy of ease, efficiency, and expansion. My voice, my culture, and my needs deserve to be prioritized in every room, including digital ones. I call forth tools, systems, and AI innovations that honor my identity and multiply my impact. So when COVID hit, I created a simple lesson for my son. I eventually put it in a link tree and put it together with these amazing Google Slides. I placed it in a Facebook group for autism moms, thinking I would be able to help maybe a few people. So I had 150 downloads and I was like, wow, that's kind of impressive. But I came back the next day, 4,000 families had downloaded it, and it was actually for free, no cost. That one post turned into an entire academy, because what I realized was that autism moms weren't just looking for lessons for kids, but they also needed wellness, homeschool schedules, advocacy scripts and emails, digital business strategies, and even affiliate marketing. And so I turned that into a GPT. So I built a GPT to help with all of it, and then I expanded it. I took it from autism to natural hair to great hair care GPTs, career equity, marketing GPTs for brands, salary audits, faith-based affirmations. I mean, it's just incredible, right? But I wanted to talk about the reason I did that. So the route that I took was I had a problem. I had to figure out how was I going to solve this issue for my son so that he can continue his education during that time frame. I took my experience, again, lived experience as an assistant principal, as a curriculum writer, and I decided to build for him. By building for him, it helped me, and it also helped other parents and moms. That is what this is really about. So the reason why AI comes into play is that I actually didn't have AI then. This was just me putting it together. And I did that like clockwork as a teacher, as an assistant principal, as a coach, and all those things. So it comes with ease. But the game changer was when I decided to make it into a framework. And I gave it as a framework for parents to use. They could just download it and easily use it. And now with GPT, all I have to do is prompt engineer and give it the very specific prompts that it needs in order for an individual of any background to take it and personalize it for themselves so they can build it quickly and with ease. So now those GPT prompts And those AI tools that I've created, they generate ongoing revenue because they solve the pain points that people didn't even know that AI could address. And that's what happens when you build with identity in mind. And you don't build for a product for the sake of selling it, but you build to solve a real problem within your community and not the algorithm. So why do you need GPTs? Because mainstream AI wasn't built with our lived experience in mind. They do not understand us and they do not understand what we say. Now, we may tell it to speak in the language of a Black woman, but that doesn't really mean they understand it because who's actually building the AI in mind? GPTs save time, labor, and mental load. I guarantee you, it is incredible the way that it's able to be worked out. They help you to scale your voice, your frameworks, and your products. You can monetize them or use them to automate what you actually don't like doing. So how do you actually build a GPT? Well, number one, you want to identify your biggest time drain, or your audience pain point. For me, my audience are autism moms, so I know that world extremely well. I can identify every single pain point and give you a solution for it. For Black women with natural hair, I also have gray hair. I'm able to, again, deliver the solution for the pain points with our hair, whether it's moisturization, posturization, scalp issues, you name it, I'm able to provide a solution for it. So you're really asking yourself, what do people really ask you about the most? What do they ask you about? I get lots of questions about autism and lots more questions about my hair and a whole lot of questions about DEI. So number two, you're going to design your prompts for it. You want to use very clear instructions. I have my own, proprietary framework that I use that I teach people as well. It really does help you to build it. And then you want to test it out. You have to test your GPTs out first. Of course, you can use your favorite AI tool, FYE, Perplexity, Gemini, ChatGPT. You want to test it out to make sure that it actually does work. And then, hey, you want to name it. I am recommending that you name it and make it culturally rooted, and that's what I did. So I have very specific names for all of my amazing products, and I love the way that I chose to do it. And that's going to be a part of your brand. And then, of course, you want to monetize it, of course. You want to leverage AI to help you to choose your price points, making sure they're taking into account all of your experience. And so for those who come to my wonderful master classes and trainings and they're inside my communities, y'all already know the things that I actually do. So those are kind of the jewels that I'll be adding for those who choose to join our community, which, of course, our community is free, but we also have other communities as well. So let's remember this. Your products don't have to just be a digital download. This is key, y'all. It can be your keynote, your workshop, your course. GPTs can help you repurpose and scale all of it. I'm going to end with a closing prayer. Ephesians 3:20. Now unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. Lord, I thank you so much for the wisdom to build tools that lighten the load. I declare that every single queen and crown under the sound of my voice will move from exhaustion to efficiency, from frustration to flow. May she embrace the technology that you place at her fingertips and use it to multiply her income, her influence, and her impact. Expand her territory. And Father, bless any of the digital works of her hands. And may it glorify you as well. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much for coming to this podcast episode. And if you're ready to get your own GPT started, I would recommend that you go ahead and take the Career Equity Audit or the Digital Business Audit. They're free and they're on my site. Second, you can join our 4C in the Suite community, or you can drop a comment below and let me know what's a problem that you wish the AI could solve for you. Thank you, and be sure to send this to 3 people that you know. See you next time.